Greetings, greetings, greetings. You are now tuned into the vault. Trust, Christian, know nothing, control everything. Just want to thank you for tuning in live, listening to replay. Always appreciate everybody that tunes in live, listens in the replay. This is the vault, episode 414, emergency meeting, 5,000 subscribers celebration. Always appreciate everybody for tuning in live, listening to replay. This is the vault. We're doing an emergency meeting because we want to celebrate the 5,000 accounts that have subscribed. They're not bots. We've dealt with quite a few people that have come through the vault, hundreds. We've done workshops, we could almost say thousands. So we're going to move forward with the fact that we appreciate everybody for tuning in live, listening to replay. We're just going to go over some of the particulars that have happened to get us to 5,000 subscribers at this point. If you look at the channel start date, it would be 2005, so it's been years. And this isn't the 20 years becomes overnight success. This is the 20 years, and you have to actually do it for 20 years. So we anticipate this platform for being around for quite a bit of time. It's been around already for 10 years plus, and so we're happy to utilize the platform to broadcast to the subscribers. We're going to talk about some stories, talk about maybe some current events that are going on in the world, because this is one of those things that it is an emergency meeting for so many people in the States. If you're in the Eurozone, they're going through it as well, with different commodities and prices going crazy as well. Uh, the euro has fell against the dollar for a while, has fallen really bad actually in the past recent days and week. So when you look at the euro, they're not doing good against the states right now for all the countries over there that are in the middle of we could say not just a war, but it's also a currency war and a, what you say, commodities, different things that you use on a daily basis. Those countries are fighting over those things, especially when you're not the largest maker. One of your routes have been blocked off. The Suez Canal has been open for a while, but you can go do your research on how the Suez Canal is doing, even more now in the recent weeks and months because of the whole situation going on over there in the other two countries right now. The emergency meeting is not to scare you, but to prepare you. This is one of those episodes that we're getting those phone calls right now. We know what time we're going in. It's the second half of the year. So many people call us in the fourth quarter, but it's the third quarter. And we're seeing what the score is right now. And we're in the era of billion-dollar companies are too big to fail. That's where the banks supposedly were. And now we're at this point where your favorite tech company is down. The same company that may put another company out of business 5, 10, 20 years ago, and they're on top now. Well, currently they're down 60%. 60, not 40, not just half, 60 plus. So when we talk about, oh, $1 billion company's too big to fail, we've seen it already. You're seeing it in front of your eyes. What will be considered you're $1 billion company and too big to fail. It makes you think so many things about the times we're in. Should you get ruthless? Be like these $1 billion company owners, founders. Start something that you know is pretty much a tchotchke and sell it to the public market just because you got a good board. That's what these guys are doing out here. That's what these ladies are doing out here. You're raising $1 billion company. Next thing you know, 3, 4, 5, 10 years later, company's not even around. They raised $1 billion in funds. They're looking like a hedge fund. When people used to make fun of hedge funds, oh, hedge funds are bad. They're the reason for the financial crisis. They're still around right now. They've been making noise. They're the ones that supposedly just got short squeezed out of AMC or GameStop in the past 2 years, where you got this company called Melvin Capital getting bailed out by other hedge funds. When these companies are doing things that you would never say that you're supposed to be doing in our sector. Why would you be 40% in one particular company? Shorten it, even 20%. That just takes away 20% of your principal. And they lost it. And they also got bailed out because they're too big to fail. So the emergency meeting is, are you too big to fail? We get people coming to us all the time. We're in the era of, if the government doesn't do anything, what are we going to do? We've always been in that era. But because people think FDR did a good number to them in the States where he gave them Social Security number, people are asking for another round of stimulus. Oh, the economy's taking us south. We should get a stimulus check. How do you qualify for a stimulus check? You want to know how you qualify for a stimulus check? Because you're not making any money. Any significant money. Any real money to change your family's life. Any real amount of money to not eat canned food. How about that? That's how you collecting checks? So you can get in line at the soup kitchen? That's where people are in the economy. If you qualify for the check, that means you're at poverty. Poverty. Oh, well, I paid into unemployment. And so did the company that you worked for. The company that you worked for, that you're collecting unemployment, they paid unemployment before you got fired. It was insurance against their employees. Was it a write-off? Go ask the owners. Go if you're an owner and you're in the chat and you're an owner of a business that has to pay insurance on your employees. It's called Social Security insurance for the employee. It's called employee insurance on the company side. They're paying not only the salary, but they're paying insurance. So when you get fired, they already have paid into a fund for you with the gov. The phantom tax on the companies. Oh, they got to pay unemployment tax. That's what it's called. Because they're going to pay for unemployment, contributing into a fund. So when you get fired from a job, they pay it out of that fund. That's the unemployment you're collecting, if you're collecting it. The emergency meeting, who's it for? The emergency meeting is about the conference coming up. Oh man, how much should I invest in my education? I'm a dedicated listener. It's always good to hear. Let's share a good story of a trustee out of the 5,000 subscribers. Here we go. No names. I'm in New York, Trust Christian in the Vault. I'm an older lady. I have grandchildren. My grandson likes listening to you, Trust Christian in the Vault. Yeah, and I run a bunch of Airbnbs in New York, Trust Christian in the Vault. Okay, and we actually just acquired another Airbnb. That's why we're coming to the workshop again. Trust Christian in the Vault. Single. Grandmother. Actually, we don't know. We cannot say for sure that she made her two sons pay for the workshop who are both over 25 years old, but we know that they both have come to a workshop. That's what it looks like in the private. That's what one of those 5,000 subscribers looks like, sounds like. How they're moving with the Airbnbs. So when people say, "Oh, Trust Christian Vault, you sound like you're a hater of the Airbnb," if we hear that, no, we've never said that. It's just everybody thinks that they're going to get rich off Airbnb. We're talking about somebody in their elder years who's able to maintain properties, doing property management to a degree, and in turn, they're able to have what we would not just call passive income, but income coming in, paying the bills, and being able to be right there, have their hands on that, and still have growing a portfolio. Portfolio has now real estate property in it. It has a company that's managing these properties in it. That's what it looks like. Emergency meeting. People in trust deal with people in trust. That's why they come to the workshops. You know, we're not a Nostradamus over at the vault, but when we usually have called what we called to the market with our trustees, They always say, well, that did happen. How did you know that, Trust Christian in the Vault? Because we're in tune with the market just like you are. We're in tune with contracts. We're in tune with the people you're doing business with out here. Oh man, I want to do business at a high level. I don't want anybody to rip me off, Trust Christian in the Vault. I don't want anybody to steal from me. Nah. But then what happens when you have to pull out that contract and you have to enforce the contract? Do you know how to enforce the contract? Do you know how to say, you know what? Let's go ahead and get ready to sue. Do you know how to say that? Out of the 5,000 subscribers, we've made sure that time and trustee again knows create that record, be prepared to sue. See, people in trust know one of those oxymoron things that they're not able to really do, which is once you're in trust, if you don't own anything, it's kind of hard to sue each other, right? Right. So that's how you know we're coming to transactions in good faith. That's how you know we're coming to the transaction in good faith because we're willing to put it out on the line. You know each other's position. You're not a liability to each other. Matter of fact, the business is not a liability to each other. The different businesses. Well, clearly we can see that people entrusted with people in trust. It's not an old adage, it's just the facts. You got to get around your peers. We seen someone post the other day on the internet, some things, and we just really are not amused, but definitely take stock of what's going on over the internet because we're still here on the internet to talk about trusteeship. We're still here to show that we've been doing workshops since the channel's been up. So we just want to celebrate the 5,000 subscribers. Appreciate everybody for tuning in live, listening, replay. Feel free to hit the like button. Always appreciate everybody that hits the like button, so hit the like button. Always appreciate everybody who subscribes, tunes into the replays. Definitely want to hit the all notifications so you can get the pop-up episodes. This is a pop-up episode. We do have a workshop coming up. Some people say, oh man, I need to know what are you guys specifically talking about. Now see, this is where you're still on the public side. Why? Because it's about what you've gotten so far that makes you come. The titles and topics that are going to be talked about are going to be private. So even the topics that we have, trading out of the trust account, private family banking setup, charitable investments, those are things that, once again, we're going to be talking about in the private. The private. Oh man, what type of times are there for you right now? We got trustees going on vacations. This is hilarious. Going on vacations, right? Right. Well, the market must not be bad for them. Well, when you're in the position of this particular trustee, maybe they can. Why? Because it's a site visit. It's a private family retreat. That's why. They don't call them vacations anymore. Hear the difference? The Asset Protection Conference, we're going over that. It's going to be a great workshop. Look forward to seeing people at the VIP dinner. A lot of people are looking forward to that. We're not going to make anyone dress up crazy. People are flying in, flying out same day. So we don't want anybody to feel like they have to fly in dressed up and sit dressed up crazy all day. It's just business attire. 2022 in the markets in a bear market. We've just seen the beginning of a bear market and the people are running for the hills. When are they going to say that they're safe, to say that they are above a bear market level? When are they going to be able to say that? When are the people going to be able to say that? Oh man, they want to cry for a recession. Or are they going to say, oh, we're really just in a bear market? And this could go on for a while. Just going sideways. Companies getting ate up. Your favorite technology company has lost 60% of its value. PC sales are down. Semiconductor shortages going on. Oh yeah, and let's go ahead and talk about it. Emergency meeting. Guess what? Real estate is down. Let's go there. Real estate sales are down. They're not up, they're down. Since real estate sales are down, that doesn't mean that the market's moving up. It's slowed down. The sales. But they're trying to say, oh, it's a buyer's market. Seems like the sellers are trying, what they're trying to say it's a seller's market. Seems like the sellers are trying to get out while the cooking is still hot. That's what the sellers are trying to do right now. They're trying to get out while it's hot, while it's high. What do you think? You think the sellers are going to wait another year? These people are baby boomers. They're trying to retire. Remember? Over 55. The 60 and up crew. They're trying to retire. You think they have another 2, the 3, the 5 years to wait for the market to turn around? Well, hold on, Trust Christian. What are you saying? What are you saying here? You think real estate? You think the market's going to slow down for the next 2 years? I mean, we should see some type of turnaround. You know, here, right? Shouldn't we see a turnaround in the next 6 months? When are we going to see a turnaround? Oh, they didn't call that for you yet, did they? But you got the guys like Kramer sitting on the internet talking about buy the dip. That's what they're still saying. These guys that can get paid to put a legal disclaimer out before they say some nonsense. Buy the dip. Well, are we done dipping? Because it could go lower and then we could dip again, and it could go lower and then we could dip again. I mean, when, hold on. Did you say, they didn't say burn a turnaround. They said buy the dip. That's what these guys say on TV. That's what these guys say in the public. They have no recourse because they have a legal disclaimer before their voice. Before they have a legal disclaimer before their antics visually. Before they start flashing colors, the greens, the reds, the blues, the yellows. That's what they're flashing, right? We have a legal disclaimer that we don't really know if you're going to make money on this company or not. But because guess what? Do we even have a position against what we're telling you? Because we're in trust. Did they say that or did they not say that? Hold on. They're in the public. They're on TV. They are legally held liable for what they're saying. But hey, guess what? I can't say anything because guess what? I don't really have a position against these companies because it's in trust. Are you saying that? Can you tell us that? Is that the same reason why the politicians might be doing that? Could you tell us that? Well, legally, I don't really own it, so, I can just take, I don't own it. Trust Christian, no, not to control everything. Hmm. Emergency meeting. They said the real estate, was it a buyer's market or a seller's market? Where else, what do they call it? Because the sellers are trying to get out. The buyers are getting in at higher interest rates than they were last year. Buyers are getting at interest rates that literally are above 5 year highs. Interest rates. Oh man, Trust Christian of all, you right about that. The interest rates are higher, right? That means your credit score's got to be better. That means you might be buying a house in your name, so you gotta have more money to put down. So let's go ahead and tell you another success story over at the Vault. Out of the 5,000 subscribers since 2015, let's give you another success story. So we got a trustee. Trustee says, "Hey, I got a property. It's in an estate. It's in a living estate. It's in a family estate name because it's paid off. The mother gave it to this individual. We could say that. And so this individual uh, has a family estate already set up. They went through someone else, blah, blah, blah. If you know what a living estate is, or what we call an estate trust, but a living estate, you'll see that the previous family member has passed along, given it over to someone else, quote unquote child, managing the property now. Managing the property, but has no mortgage on it, has equity in the land, has just taken out a mortgage. Well, literally came to us within less than 60 days now. They literally came on the phone this past week, whimpering, hampering, hard. I don't think the bank's gonna put the actual property inside of an LLC with my name, because the bank initially was willing to give that individual a loan to them. The property had a no loan on it, so the bank's gonna give them a loan for sure. The bank gave them a loan, and they wanted to put the corporation on it. And sometimes when you don't have that level of just come at people, what happens is you don't push the envelope. So We just pushed them. We pushed them now actually for about 3 weeks. In turn, they've gotten the LLC, or they said that the bank has pretty much approved that they can get the LLC on the mortgage. In turn, they've gotten the LLC on the mortgage with their name. So it's very beneficial in that respect. This isn't a judgment to what decisions that they've made. This isn't advice or advice to them on what position that they made, but they made that position because that was a position they wanted to take. They wanted to take where there was a company that was on the mortgage with them and their name. In turn, they were able to execute that, and in turn, makes it a lot easier. Obviously, when things look like that, it looks very, very good. In the respect that they were able to put not everything in their name and at least they'll have some form of partial liability because of the fact that it's now going to be adjacent, or the contract's going to be, it's going to have the LLC in there in turn to the mortgage, which is good because if someone wants to branch out to a real estate company or they want to branch out to do other things, if they want to do some property management or property development, they're able to say that this company now has an equity stake in land, an equity stake in property, which is very, very important. We could almost talk to trustees or people and say, hey, let's talk about it in the public. Could you refi a property into a corp? Have you talked to your accountant about that? Have you talked to a lawyer about that? These are creative methods that if an individual's thinking properly, then they move into those positions. They say, well, there's money in the property. Let's see if we can just refi. Let's find that out. Do you know that? So in this particular case, it wasn't a refi. It was an actual just attaching a mortgage to a property. And in turn, they were able to move forward with that this recently. So we're really happy with that outcome. Very, very good outcome where they were able to get the company attached to the mortgage for the actual property because it allows people say, oh, personal residence. Yeah, and that's why it's not a write-off because it's personal. It's not business. When people are thinking business, they get business results. When people are thinking personal, they get personal results. Appreciate Iowa for tuning in live, listening to replay. Always appreciate Iowa for tuning in live, listening to replay. Emergency meeting, 5,000 subscribers. We're celebrating because we're talking about the subscribers. The people that have come through, had the faith. Appreciate the subscribe 5,000 subscribers for sure. Every single one of them. Somebody out there that says, hey, this is worth something me bookmarking and coming back to. Appreciate it. What we can say is we will be moving content around, but we do appreciate it. After 400 episodes, we do appreciate the listeners and just look forward to continuously bring forth quality content when it comes to uh, trusteeship, when it comes to trusteeship, and whether it's in traditional entities or you talk about charitable entities. See, when you look at our flyer, we don't say, oh, just get in a charity. We talk about that being an investment vehicle. See, what happened on the public side? What do they call it on the public side? Oh, it's nonprofit. It's nonprofit. It's nonprofit. In our sector, charitable investment. Does that sound like a nonprofit? We'll repeat it again. Does charitable investment sound like it means a nonprofit? No. But this is what they got people thinking in the public. Oh, I'm going to go into a nonprofit because that's the best thing that they call it. And that means I can't live in it and live my charitable dreams and goals. Why? Because it's not meant to make any money. It's a charity. But what about charitable investments for all you all that are investors and oh, I'm investing in real estate and oh, I'm getting passive income? Well, charitable investments means charitable passive money. It didn't say charitable working, it said charitable investments, which we're being very clear about, which means return on investments, which is passive. Right? Right. So we're not talking about nonprofit. Oh, it's a 501c3. Right. People talk about, well, we're not just saying it's a 501c3, it's something that's under the state. It's not under the state. It's not. It's international. Oh man, I don't know if I'm gonna pull my belts pants up so I can get into international jurisdiction in sharks and waters, the shark infested waters. I'm gonna stay over here in my local domain, you know, and be called a Joe Schmo. But it's nothing wrong with that. Some of those people just own a laundromat. Some of those people own gas stations, convenience stores. So it's local business. Have at it. And they can pass along a chain of stores. Appreciate San Francisco for tuning in live, listen to replay. Always appreciate San Francisco for tuning in live, listen to replay. Yeah, we definitely appreciate the 5,000 subscribers. We're at that mark where we just want to go ahead and say, hey, it's a nice round even number, as they say. It's a nice round odd number, and it's definitely worth stopping for a second and giving praise to everybody that's listening, because this is about the subscribers that have subscribed, the people that have reached out. We're sharing success stories of people that have reached out and things that have gone right. You know, we're definitely appreciative of people that have reached out. So many people say, oh, what about more views and more of this and more of that? Ladies and gentlemen, we've had packed out rooms since we started the workshops. We're doing a workshop on August the 6th, and we expect the same thing. Every workshop is packed out because it's not about us, the speakers, it's about the people coming to the workshop. We already have sold out the room in that respect, because the people that need to be there are going to be there. They're trustees. The thing is we do open the doors to people that are not trustees. And so yes, this is asset protection conference, separating business wealth from family wealth and going forward from there. So we appreciate once again uh, everybody that tunes in live, listen in the replay. Oh, we got a listener, Sigma Enigma, was here before 1,000 subscribers, and we really appreciate that. You know, that's always an appreciative moment where you get somebody that has been around for that many years, because it's been years. Appreciate Tulsa, Oklahoma for tuning in live, listening to replay. Always appreciate Tulsa, Oklahoma. Haven't been out there in a while, but appreciate Tulsa. They've been listening in too as well. So once again, we always appreciate, everybody listening from different places. And, people traveling from all over yonder to come to the workshops. The workshop's going to be in Orlando. We've done them in Orlando. We've done them all over. Some of the places that people have described where they're at, we haven't done them there, but we've done them in your major cities, your Dallas, your Marylands, Chicago, your Californias, uh, Georgias, uh, and that's just in a short period of time, for being around for such a short period of time. But the demand is based off the trustees, and then after that, anything else that comes is just gravy. So we've always been self-sufficient with the listeners that listen, and the people that have listened and gone through the training program. We've always been sufficient in that respect. So we always appreciate everybody that tunes in live and listens in a replay, people that enroll in the training. It's always obviously a plus and appreciated. Um, it's beautiful, actually. So we were looking forward to getting to this moment of 5,000 subscribers. It's taking this long or this short, and we're looking forward to the next five coming even faster. We look forward to seeing people at the workshop here on the 6th. Um, we could give out tons of success stories throughout the years. We've named a few here today. Um, Many people have come through the vault and quit their jobs. That's a fact. That means they've come through. They got into a position where they took the leap. They were pushing their business, and next thing you know, that we were right there with them where they went from, okay, I'm working part time in the business to full time in the business now, and moving and transition away from employee shipping. The emergency meeting could be literally the out of the 5,000 listeners. You have to look at that number as, are you an entrepreneur or an employee? Are you an investor or an employee? Because that's what that number makes up. It makes up employees and it makes up investors. People are investing in their education, and they're going to invest in with their work ethic. They're going to invest in traveling. They're going to invest in the whole what they call nine. And then you got the employees. They're ear hustling. That's it. It sounds good. I'm gonna check it out. Out of 5,000 listeners, y'all think we don't got lawyers that are subscribed? We got lawyers that are subscribed to the vault, right? And some of them, what do they say? Oh, they're a lawyer, a whole lawyer. Now, the thing about it is, see, lawyers get people confused. Just because someone says they're a lawyer does not mean they're a lawyer in a particular thing that you need them to be a pr- practice in. So when you see a lot of lawyers nowadays, you actually see a lot of PAs. Just look at the end of their name and see if you see PA for personal injury attorney. See if y'all see that, because this is where like so many people are just getting bad advice, bad information, or they're gonna go to an attorney, but then when you see the attorney, this person's not even a contract lawyer. Do you have a contract lawyer? Do you have a business attorney that can help litigate your LLC or your C Corp on the public side? Do you have good relationships with someone that may know the private side that says, okay, I know how to administer anything for a trust? There are quite a few people that reach out to the vault and they'll say, oh man, I got my trust started. I got a trust started. Out of 5,000 people, yep, I got a trust started. Okay, so we already know why you contacting the vault. It's called for trustee training. Because that's what we talk about here. We don't talk about just you getting the trust. That's why you're contacting us. Because people entrusted with people in trust. We learned it from trustees. We learned it from mentors that were in trust. Well, I didn't learn it from anybody. I just got a trust. Well, we know quite a few that just got trust. Quite a few that just got trust. Oh, I got sold this thing. I got sold that thing. Can I come to the workshop? Of course. But just know everything that you have may not work in different systems. Greetings, greetings. We got a question that someone just typed into the chat. Feel free to type any chat questions into the chat for sure. We'll do open question today for this episode for sure. We usually never do that, but feel free to type into the chat any question. We'll do our best to have a conversation and stay on even a little bit longer for the listeners that are live. So once again, feel free to ask any question through the chat. It says, is there a limit to multiple key man vehicle? Excuse us. We'll repeat again. That was wrong. Is there a limit to multiple key man whole life insurance for all individuals on the trust contract? That's a great question. We would say no to that, but at the same time, think about it. Whoever you get the insurance from, they'll be able to let you know that. Because there has to be an owner and there has to be a beneficiary. Obviously, when you talk about insurance, something's insured, and then you have beneficiaries and owners. And that's why when you really are in it, like we are in it, insurance is a trust because it's a contract. A lot of flexibility in it. The insurance policies that we deal with, they're private. It's called a private family banking setup. That's what it's called. Oh man, I'm gonna stay in the public. I'm gonna listen to the public gurus who never said that they got a private trust, never said that they in private trust, who never said anything about the insurance was private. They don't say that the insurance is a private contract. Why? Because they don't know. That's why. They don't know that. Do the insurance guys know that? Maybe. They may talk about it. The insurance is a private contract. But when you're in the public, do the guys that are just talking, running their mouth, hey, get in the insurance, private insurance, get in a whole life policy, do this, do that, insurance, hoo-yay, rah, rah, rah. Oh, yeah, they told you to do that, right? Right. They didn't tell you it was a private contract, that it was amendable, that you could change the owner, that you could change the beneficiary. Didn't I tell you all these small details? They just left it in the dark. Do you work for them or they work for you? Did they just sell you some insurance and you don't really know how to utilize it? Because that's what our program is about. It's about education. So did you get any insurance policy? But then when we have conversations with people off the street, as they call it, or have conversations in the consultations on the phone. Well, yeah, somebody sold me an insurance. I mean, I have a great guy, but he's never told me what you're telling us, Trust Christian and Evolve. We know. She didn't tell us that. Trust Christian involved. We know. She didn't say it was private. No, she didn't say that. She didn't say that the insurance is a private contract. Go ask your insurance person, right? Right. That's what we're supposed to do. But how do we know this? This is the excuse that sometimes the entrepreneurs or the investors want to give if they're going to pull a hamstring or have a funny bone. Well, we didn't know that. Well, yeah, we didn't, but we're not going to state that. We're just going to learn. We're going to elevate. See, the employees are going to say, well, I didn't know that was a part of my job description. As the entrepreneur investors, we just got to pick up the ball and learn it and run. There's a difference. Out of the 5,000 listeners, for sure, many people are insurance people that listen. We got the lawyers that listen too. They reach out to the vault. Interesting to see the demographic throughout the years of 5,000 subscribers. We could go through the numbers. 50+% men. Married couples, 50%. Appreciate P family for tuning in live, listening to replay. Definitely appreciate you. Once again, if you have any questions, feel free to type them into the chat. 50+% singles. Throughout the years, it's been interesting to see. We're going to tell you that most families are dysfunctional in the world. Now, out of the 5,000 listeners, most of those families are not trying to re-implement or have anything to do with that, which is called dysfunction in their family, which means they don't have order, which means they don't have trust, which means they don't have any type of organization or structure in their family, financially, educationally, asset wise. There's no real financial plan in place. Maybe there is a financial plan in place. So the families, once again, are subscribed, are making sure that they have that in place. They're listening to hear someone else talk about having those things in place. Everybody's listen. So is the cup of tea of the day go get is the cup of tea of the day to go get a will? Let the public lawyers default. Oh man, well somebody died, so you should at least have a will in place. Right. So they can administer your probate. You hear us? Let's say it again. Oh well, don't die and then not have anything but a will in place. You gotta at least have a will. They say that. They not giving us the whole shake. They just giving us the skinny. Oh man, we just get a will in place. So we go get the will. Now we ain't got that over at the vault, but we people get the will, and guess what? When you pass, you didn't even have more than a will done. So guess what? They're gonna administer that, and it's going through probate, and they're about to take a cut, more than 10%. From your family, from your children, just because they're taking documents from you, an illegal entity, and giving them to your family. It's okay with some people. Some people have enough sense to wake up and think and see, comprehend and say, that's not a good position to be in. It didn't sound good when literally we just opened up the door for someone to take 10%. Plus, that's the downside. That's not an upside. There's no if they give it to the second generation or the next generation that they give us money back. The lawyer doesn't give you money back. He takes his cut through probate. It's an automatic cut. Well, but the cup of tea of the day, the lawyer said, the lawyer said, at least have a will in trust in place. But then when you kind of involved and they say, well, do I still need a will if I have a trust in place? And we say, well, those are two different things. And one doesn't die. See, when you administer the will, there's no more will. You administer the will. But what about the trust? Trust doesn't die. After you administer certain codicils that maybe the grantor had in place or the previous trustee had in place, trust can live forever. Oh man, trust creation in the vault. They ain't really tell us all those details. So, no one told me because the lawyer didn't know. You're on the public side. The lawyer, let's go there again. If the lawyer knew, why didn't they share that with you to help you become more protected? Well, trust Christian in the vault. I don't know. Maybe because they said I didn't have enough money. Let's go there. Because, trust Christian in the vault. We've been around mentors that say if you don't have $1 million, you shouldn't be in trust. Now, y'all hear that? And we've been standing in front of that bullet. Trust Christian in the Vault has been standing in front of that bullet for years for those 5,000 listeners. Because those 5,000 listeners wouldn't have heard the information, wouldn't be in trust possibly if it wasn't for Trust Christian in the Vault. That's a fact. Oh man, trust Christian in the vault. So your mentors, some of the people that you associate with in the higher circles, in the high net worth investor environment, in the ultra high net worth investor environment, they say don't even put those people in trust. Why? Because they don't make enough money. They don't need to do that. Well, guess what? What happens when somebody, once again, their family passes along and they're about to literally, they don't even have a will in place. But if they do have a will in place, probate's about to take a downside of 10 to 15%. That's the downside. That's not an upside. So, bam, they're passing along something they worked their whole life for and literally about to receive an additional erosion of wealth. It's called an erosion of wealth. We can have these conversations because we live it. It's an erosion of wealth. We can have this conversation simply and plain because that's what it is. It's an erosion of wealth. It's called theft, actually. But oh no, no, I don't want to call it that because I kind of went to the guy or the lady and she drafted the document for me. So, or he drafted it for me. So, the will. So, I mean, like, they're going to administer it. So everything should be smooth. It's going to go to my kids and then it's going to be in my kids' name. And then the same thing is going to happen to them. So we almost lost 20 to 30 plus some inflation, 20 to 30% plus inflation a generation or two later because, hey, what they say, you don't know what you don't know. Right. 5,000 listeners for sure. Quite a few were put in peculiar situations where their family passed along some asset to them, a house, they feel stuck. There's so many people that are the 5,000 listeners that literally have real estate that has no mortgage on it and they still aren't making money off the property. Employee mindset. When you're a trustee, when you're in a trustee training program, you work through and you push yourself to do some of the things that we talked about. Getting the bank to put the mortgage on and with the LLC or whatever. When you talk about so many different stories we talked about previously in this episode. Its trustee is thinking. Its trustee is growing. We'll see. 5,000 listeners, we appreciate them all. 5,000 subscribers, we appreciate them all. It shows us where we're at. What gets measured gets accomplished. We always want to give a big thanks to the subscribers. Because this is one of those moments, ladies and gentlemen, that the vault is going to continue to elevate. And we're thankful and appreciative of everybody that has taken part in that process. Not a journey, a process. So you can see the growth through the numbers. And when it's 500,000 and when it's 5 million, it's going to be an emergency meeting. Because these things, we were talking about the general market. A lot of people might be underwater, some people may be above water. We're here to say the water's in your head. What are you thinking? We got people coming to us all the time. Oh man, I'm thinking about this, I'm thinking about that, I'm going through this, I'm going through that. So what makes you think you're ready to be in trust and manage your family estate? Emergency meeting is for you and your family to figure out, are we going to do this thing or are we going to play around? It's an emergency. That's why it's an emergency meeting. But how many people think it's red light, green light to get to where they gotta go? People say, oh man, Trust Christian Revolt, the workshops, the conferences. First of all, they're for trustees. They're not for us. They're not for the speakers. We know each other. They're for the trustees. They're for the 5,000 subscribers and the people that have listened in the past. That's who it's for. So you can know it's not just internet. Oh, I'm going to be behind the black and silver logo. No, face to face. Got any additional questions? Feel free to type any questions you got in the chat. This is open questions today. Feel free to type into the chat any open questions you have. Definitely open to answering any questions. It's not just topic related. Feel free to type into the chat any questions you may have. Uh, we definitely want to do this episode. Got to do the thanks, celebrate, look forward to this moment, and going to continue to move past this moment, bringing more and more content focused on this particular niche because there is a community. What do they call them? Underserved, underbanked. Y'all heard of these people? Underserved, underprivileged, underbanked. If you're listening live, feel free to type in where you type it in from the chat. I mean, list where you're listening live from. If you're listening live, feel free to type into the chat where you're listening live from. Oh man, I didn't get a proper financial education. But everybody's selling you. What are they selling you, a vehicle, or are they selling you a skill? Were you sold a skill, or you were sold a monthly membership, which is a bill? We don't even have that at the vault. Some subscribers, you want to go there? Why do you think we haven't monetized the channel? What is the point? Oh man, Trust Christian Vault, I need you to have a website. I want to kind of see if you can monetize it because there's a lot of views. And just can you monetize it so we can see that you need the money? You need the $500 from YouTube. Hold on. But then I thought it was like $1 million YouTubers and your information is so good. It's $1 million worth of information. So, you should have like 1 million viewers and 1 million subscribers and it's going to be 1 million to everything. And you're going to make $1 million through YouTube. Yeah, right. This is what the mentors educated us on. You get in a position where your charitable investments are greater than your public businesses and your public interest because it's the public. And in the public, those things, if they left or you don't have any income coming in from them, remember, it's charitable investments. It's not a non-profit, whatever these public people want to call it. That's the difference in our education. Do you think it would be a bad idea to prop trade with instead of with money you already have? And this is from a question from P Family on the chat. Feel free to type any question you have into the chat. It's open questions today, so we normally don't do that, but feel free to type into the chat any questions that you have. We're not giving financial advice or legal advice. We're talking to will be considered one of the 5,000 subscribers. So, this is a question from P. Type any questions in the chat. Do you think it would be a bad idea to prop trade instead of with money you already have? Well, see, we come in from a perspective that most people aren't because we're in the sector. So when people talk about prop trading, getting some OPM, this is like the cup of tea of the day, like the will. Oh man, if I get somebody OPM, OPM, OPM. We're not gonna say it backwards, but it's OPM. That's all we're gonna say, because there's only like 3 letters we need to know in our life now. If you're eating breakfast, we need to be getting OPM. If we're eating lunch, we need to be getting OPM. If we're eating dinner, we need to be getting OPM. Whatever. And then how many people, if you were getting so much goddamn OPM, why are you still doing stuff? See, we understand how a millionaire is, especially liquid, especially cash flow. We'll share with you a story how it looks. One of our mentors, he started out with a 4,000 square foot house. The land that he bought, the house is over 16,000 square feet. And he's still building on the house. That's how it looks. So hold on, let's say that again. They had enough money to get a 4,000 square foot house. Not small in America. Definitely not small. 4,000 square foot house. The house is at 16,000 square feet. It's almost like you got to have a golf cart to drive through the house. You got to have a golf cart to get around. Who wants to walk around 16,000 square feet? I'm sorry, you got to have slippers. You got to have house shoes, as they call them now. These are the shoes that you run around the house in. Right? Slippers. 16,000 square feet, sold 4 times. How do you get to that point? Well, this mentor has utilized cash flow. Never went into debt to add to the house. Literally, it's just went out, added more cash flow to their current business and projects, and built a bigger house. But oh, what about passive income? Passive income. Clearly, they're doing some work that's creating cash flow to pay for that. I mean, think about how many AC units you have to have on a 16,000 square foot house. There's a lot of maintenance that goes with that. There's lawn care. You gotta have somebody come through and clean it. It's a lot of maintenance with a 16,000 square foot house. There's a lot of maintenance with a 4,000 square foot house. So you do have to have cash flow after you acquire these properties that supposedly are $1 million or $500,000 or whatever people are talking about, because they got passive income, right? Right. Oh man, you get use a long-winded answer because this is the prop money, right? The prop money is called OPM, right? Right. So if the prop money is OPM, then that means you're gonna have a track record. How did you get money without a track record? Oh, well, they got these internet scams going on the internet, Trust Christian, that we're too afraid to tell people about, and the companies are too afraid to tell people. It's pretty much a scam. Why? Because back in the day, and even still to this current day, you couldn't really work with a major institution because they're not major institutions. That's why they can steal your money. So we're back in the day, you had to work for a major institution to actually get prop money, and usually those were like the 1% of the best traders traditionally. Why? Because they were pretty much not working for a company. They were prop trading. They didn't work for Goldman. You didn't work for the company anymore. You went in, you set up a contract. It's called a proprietary trading account that they would set up with you, and you would sit there and you would trade. Sometimes you used to have to go to the office. Back in the day, nowadays we're in the age where, sure, everybody's trading from some damn beach in Bali. Everybody's trading from Tahiti now. Everybody's trading from the Maldives. You're trading from the Maldives with the internet. Whatever. So so the question is it a bad idea to trade with prop money instead of with money you already have? Well, this is to say to the saying that for all the goofballs, because you got to know what a goofball is. You got to discern stupid statements from intelligent statements. Here's a intelligent statement. It takes money to make money. Right. If you don't want to believe that, that's on you. But clearly, prop money is showing that it takes money for you to get what? Make money. That's a goddamn fact. But they don't want to hear that in the streets or these new politically correct environments. Why? Because they want you to think that you can get something for nothing. And that's the worst part about these deceptive acts that people come in front of you every single day trying to perpetrate this garbage. That there's something for nothing. You gotta let out carbon dioxide to breathe in air. But this is the fallacy because lack of universal law is being shared. That's a universal law. You gotta give to get. It's an easy transaction. How do you expect to get something if you didn't give nothing? Oh, I'm passionate about it. Oh, Trust Christian, of all you sound a little, you gotta be passionate about it. Why? You gotta be all raising your voice. Because, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't get this and rid this out of your system, if it's in you, you're not gonna make it. We're sharing with you the facts. We can be passionate. Just like the passive people want to share with you the lies, we're going to passionately share with you the truth. We're going to passionately share with you that the question that was just asked, which is, it takes money to make money. Is it true? They've just proved that it's true because they're asking, well, hey, am I going to use my own money or am I going to use what? OPM. That's it. And clearly the statement of it's a statement, but it's also a truth in the universe of making some daggone real money in the world. Is you gotta take money to make money. You gotta risk money to make money. And that is the truth. So is this a question of risk? Yes. Is this a bad idea? Is this a risky idea? Is it more risky to take OPM
than it is to already have my own money and risk my own money. We'll see. We'll go from it from a trustee perspective so we can talk about it from that perspective. First of all, it's not your money. So the trust money. Is it a bad idea to trade to prop trade instead of using trust funds? Uh, Once again, it's a risk question. What are you are the risk manager. Are you going to risk? What is the downside of taking the OPM? What is the downside of you risking the capital of a asset that you're already currently holding? There's a lot of factors to talk about. Is it in cash? Is it this? Is it that? But we won't talk about that. We're going to talk about taking the OPM, which is the prop trade money, or utilizing the traditional assets. So this is the where the confusion comes in the market. Oh man, all the gurus on the internet telling me to use OPM. I mean, trust Christian Devote. What are you gonna be the only guy on the internet saying you're the only source on the internet saying don't use OPM? You sound poor. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? It seems like are your friends are they in the middle class and lower class? Do they got loans? Yeah. The people that we know that are in the upper class, the reason why they're in the upper class is because they have cash flow pay for what you call bills. So no, they're not using OPM. They're just making cash. You got to make cash. Do you got to make cash with your principal? Sure. Do you got to make cash with OPM? Yes. You got to make cash. You got to make cash flow. Cash flow is king, not whose money you're using. That's the fallacy in the market from what we've seen is, oh, we're not going to go deep because when you really get on the side that we're in, we're funding people. So you're using your own money. Yes. How you going to fund people and use other people's money? Does that make sense? Well, if that's the case, you're what we call the middleman, and they're called broker. They're brokered in all the rest of us. The brokers, they're always in the middle. The people that have the money, they're the ones that give things away with an interest rate. And then there's the people that are trying to generate cash on cash. They just want to make their cash go up. It doesn't matter if it's 1%, 2%, 3%, 4%, 5%, 6%, 7%. Hey, did we lose anything? No. Great. Oh, I went and prop traded this past year and I got 7% on the money for the prop trading company. Hey, that wasn't a lot. Oh man, trust Christian, that looks like trash right there for 7%. Well, let's go look at the goddamn stock market right now. What you talking about? You up 7% in a year right now. We in July. So let's talk about it. The market's not up 7%. It's down 20 and you're up 7. You go look at the numbers, you go look at some differentials, you understand how the math works, you're actually doing really exceptionally well. Oh, for all the guys that are making the millions over the internet, supposedly when it's supposedly been a recession, because you know you've been on the internet trading, making millions, and talking about it on the internet, right? Right. So since you've been on the internet talking about it, guess what? Most people aren't up. So you're the $1 million earner. You're teaching people a course, right? You got some course that you're gonna teach people how to trade in a goddamn recession. They trying to figure out how they gonna, get around the recession. But do they have? And then hold on, are they gonna take their savings, their hard-earned savings, to go in the market in a recession? Telling them to go in a recession and buy the dip? What we doing here now? But then we got one guy, one girl, gal, prop trading, made 7% on a year. Oh man, that's not a lot of trust Christian involved. But hey, we just talked about the market is down. The market is down over 10 to 15%. That individual has outperforming portfolio. What do you think a prop trading company going to do? Give them more money. Because that's what the prop trading company does. See, when the prop trading company see that you're actually doing well, they give you that phone call. Oh, they don't just give you the rinky-dink email. Oh, we're going to give you some rinky-dink money. We're going to give you 50,000 on margin. We're going to give you 100,000 on margin because you paid $300. You paid $500. You paid $800. We're going to give you 200,000 on margin at the prop account. Go ahead and trade. What do you think? So you pay, whereas when you go to other brokers, they're still giving you that type of leverage. When you go to other brokers, they're still giving you that type of leverage. Oh, but the reason why you get that type of leverage is because you paid them some money up front. So it looks like they're making their money on the front end. Remember, they're the broker, they're the middleman. They're making their money. Prop trading company, broker. Are they regulated? Are they U.S. regulated? We gonna go ahead and bust some bubbles. This the reason why we could do this because it's 5,000 subscribers and we celebrating. So hit the like button. We always appreciate everybody hits the like button. But we gonna go ahead and talk about it. So for all y'all got these foreign accounts, why y'all thinking about taxes? Why y'all talk about taxes? Where is the money coming back in the States? I thought y'all was making foreign money when y'all trading these foreign brokerage accounts. These foreign brokerage accounts, do they report to the States? Are they reporting how much money y'all making? Is it in your name? Let's talk about it. The foreign broker accounts that y'all trading out of. Yeah, we're not gonna give none of them no play because most of them ain't around 3 to 5 years from now. That's the facts. Because they're tchotchkes. And every now and then we see these American companies slipping through the cracks with the well, hold on. We actually put out a case the other day, and who is this? We might even talk about it. How there is a lawsuit right now with we want to say the SEC that's talking about these companies that are doing pay for order flow. They're paying their funds that are paying for order flow from these brokers, and it's like, how do you stand a chance against the brokerage? The brokerage is literally a complete conflict of interest. We're not saying all of them, ladies and gentlemen, and we're not naming names. So that's why you have to go through the troubles if you're on the public side and the retail side and actually get your knees scraped up at going through brokers. It's like riding a bike. You're going to have to learn how to ride it without training wheels. And that's a fact. So you're going to have to go through the brokers. We're not going to name the brokers, but the brokers, y'all can Google case right now open against these brokerages that are selling your order flow. They're selling they're selling the opposite side of your position. How do you stand a chance? That's just wild that this company is allowed to even do this. Well, now we see that the regulators are coming after these guys. These guys kind of they didn't just pop up, but at the same time, the millennials they're not that financially educated, so they're hopping in. Oh, it was $1 trillion in these different coins and funds, and they've disappeared. How many people do you hear day trading right now? They're not day trading. What, they buying a dip? What, you buying a dip because all you gotta do is buy? Didn't your guru tell you how to sell? What are you selling? Are you selling your favorite tech company? Are you still selling Netflix after it's 60% down? Are you selling these major companies? You selling Apple? You got an Apple. How you selling Apple? Right. So you day trade and you only know how to buy because that's what the course taught you, right? Or they taught you technical analysis. All you know is supply and demand, and most people just buy. Well, the market's so depressed, it's got to go up, so we gonna buy, right? Right. Do you hear that type of mentality? And that's why it hasn't gone anywhere. They're slowly cleaning out the people. They're rotating into these companies when these companies are still reporting horrible earnings. What company is reporting solid earnings right now? Your Fortune 500s are not reporting. They're not reporting positive earnings. That's the facts. We're talking about what just happened in the past 90 days. That's what we're talking about. Well, if they're calling for what you call a recession, is the recession backward looking or forward looking? It's backward looking. But because they're calling for the recession, most people are about to sit in it. They're about to be down another 2 quarters. And that's why they're about to go backwards. They lost a whole year of life financially because they didn't want to keep working. They wanted to see if it was going to be another stimmy check coming. What a joke. These people need to pull their pants up. If you're one of those people that think that you can quit a job, get unemployment, good riddance. So we see the number go backwards at below 5,000, and then we have to do another episode. Y'all know why now. We're not whining and complaining. This is an emergency meeting to celebrate people that said we're going to subscribe so we can have conversations like this that the vault puts out, because that's what it's about. Legacy, family, asset protection. That's what it's about. We appreciate people that have tuned in live for a long time. All y'all that have listened, y'all haven't really seen Trust Christian. That's fair. Y'all get to see that picture. It's one of the best pictures of him of all time. Y'all can see the picture. But we just want to let y'all know, wherever you're at in the country, y'all are in our prayers to do better. You all are in our prayers to be successful. We have to say that to our listeners so people don't think that it's just business. It is business, but that's why we decided to do the VIP dinner. Because when you break bread with people, it shares a level of intimacy with people to let them get a little bit closer to the action. Because when you hear, oh, we're doing some yacht party in another country, can you make it? Well, if you can't make it to Orlando, you're not coming to some other country. But we know who are coming. We know who's coming. Trustees, senior trustees, fully system out trustees. We look forward to connecting with the trustees at this workshop, the ones in the future. We're thankful for all the people that have attended the workshops in the past. We could just sit here and just story after story go back to each workshop. We got trustees, they got racehorses. Like, how many stories do we need to give out of the 5,000 to let y'all know that number is not a hollow number? That's not a number that you just see. It's not a bot. This ain't bought. You don't buy it when you grind this long. You don't buy it when you put in the workshops. We've been doing workshops for years. Y'all can see that. Y'all can see that. This ain't bought. We don't get bought out over here. We don't need to do all these advertisements. All you got to do is let the algorithm play for you. So we appreciate everybody that hits the like and the subscribe button because it does boost up the algorithm. People that listen to the previous episodes, people that share the previous episodes, it boosted the algorithm to get this far. Is this an amazing feat? Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about money. We're talking about family. We're talking about holding it together in a positive, productive light. Is that selling right now? Or is drama selling? What's selling? When we talked to a business partner the other day, he said, what's being consumed? What's being consumed was getting 100,000 views. We're going to different platforms. But on this platform, oh, we celebrate. Because over here, this platform is where a lot of the entrepreneurs want to DIY a trust document or DIY trustees. Hey, what are we talking about? Moving in trust? Are we talking about family legacies? We talking about trusteeship? Are we talking about charitable investments? That's what we talking about. We're not talking about no drama. We're not talking about no nonsense. We have to keep people focused on being fact-based because the numbers don't lie. That's the facts. So we appreciate everybody. It's big appreciation. Can't say that enough because we said when we first started out and we're going to say it all the way through. And that's the best part about it. So when we talk about everybody that tunes in live, listen to replay, we wanted to say we was going to give out something actually on this episode. That's crazy. We would love to say, that we could give out something free, but it's just one of those things that once again, how do you get anything free in the world? That's the crazy part about it. It's like, man, for real, do people really want something like that? Like, how does your mind think like that? Because you've been trained to think like that. That's the sad part. We appreciate everybody that has looked in and poured into the vault because we love pouring into the people. For now, we poured into the people for years now. Track records on deck, remember? Let's go back to that prop trading question. If you're going to go prop trade, right? Are you going to prop trade more money than your own money or the trust funds? Because if you're not willing to have that emotional connection to the prop money, because you got an emotional connection to your own money or got an emotional connection to your family estate money, why would you go risk OPM, which literally means they're going to put an interest on it because there's interest attached when somebody loans you money. But oh no, they're not going to loan me interest. Can you lose their money and there's going to be no recourse? Can you lose their money and there's no risk? what are you risking? Oh, I had to pay for this so I could get access to the money. Okay, so there was a risk. You lost some money. You did lose personally still because you had to come out of your estate first to even get into the prop money because it take money to make money. And what happened? Oh man, did you make money for the prop and yourself or the family estate, or did you lose it? That's the question that it comes down to. I don't think it's that big of a deal. What we say is hard to realize that, but that's the case, ladies and gentlemen. Like that is the 100% case. And we would encourage everybody to really get into some type of what, because we're in the age of mental health. It's an emergency meeting, so we got to have a mental health meeting for the entrepreneur investors, because we don't want them coming over here talking about they having chest pains either. So for that reason, you have to have some healthy diet of positive affirmations for your wealth mindset. Everybody that's successful has affirmations. So do you have affirmations for yourself? So that's something that we would do for our subscribers. We would literally create poems for all of our listeners. Somebody can type, you know, they can email us, and we do poems for our trustees, affirmation tracks for our trustees, because it's rather important to have uh, that. You got to have those affirmation tracks for yourself so you can listen to yourself and hear yourself talking about yourself being successful and doing all the great things that you want to do in your life and looking beyond your current circumstances. Those are things that we encourage our trustees. Those are things that we push our trustees to actually get past and get over those hurdles and do. And we actually do. We people say, "Oh, there's different forms of leadership style." You're right about that. And our leadership style is effective, just like all the little weenies out there telling you, "Hey, go get the passive income from real estate." Right. Where right now the interest rates are higher than they ever been. How you gonna get in real estate? The interest rates are higher right now, but the gurus are telling you that the wealth transfer is happening. How are you gonna get in real estate when the interest rates are at the highest that they've been in the past 5 years? This is the facts, ladies and gentlemen. The interest rates are up. So how is the real estate market so hot when the interest rates are up? See, this is the dumb advertising that they got going on the internet. Oh, and then they want to come on the little advertisements on the channels and say, "Oh, well, guess what? There's going to be a huge wealth transfer into real estate right now, over the next year or so." Right. How? The damn interest rates are up. Who's buying the properties? Same people that were buying the properties in 2020 and 2021. These companies. Companies. So when we get a trustee, when one of the trustees says, "Hey, I got the company LLC, the corp on the property with me," hey, that's a plus. When you got a trustee saying, "Hey, we actually just got a new property. We're setting up Airbnb. We're doing it in one of the still a booming city. New York's still booming. They're still doing Airbnbs." What do you think about it? If you're not doing daily Airbnbs, what happened to people that want to rent out something monthly? That's where the market has changed. People are utilizing these things in many different ways, not just one way. So we've never downplayed the Airbnb, but we want to talk about it because there's so many people that say, "Oh man, I gotta do it this way and do it that way." It's no, you gotta do it the way that works. Oh man, real estate is booming though. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Is it okay? The market's okay. Sure, the market's steady for what people can see. They don't really want to hear that the numbers have slowed down. So what are we talking about here? Like, sure, tourism is hot. Tourism is definitely hot. When you have a war going on, people are trying to travel to safer destinations, more hospitable destinations, and that's all called another continent because there is not too many continents that hold human life. And so, yeah, it's not like it's on one continent. Well, what we're talking about, like Australia, where it's literally countries within it, state or provinces and states within it. It's not Australia. It's a continent that has a war going on it. So people are trying to leave that continent and travel right now. So you're seeing tourism pop up and all of that stuff right now. But then you also see another wave of the 19. You hear how that goes? There's another wave. That's why we gotta call an emergency meeting because oh man, I thought we was gonna be out of it. If you got shot, then you should be out of it right now. Right? Nah, this is the emergency meeting. This is for the trustees that talk about going private. This for all the people that reach out and say, "Oh, I'm in trust. I'm private. I don't want the state to own me. I don't want the state to own my kids. I don't want to deal with child support." Well, trust Christian, own nothing, control everything. We'll repeat that again. Oh, I don't want to own. I don't want to be under the state's control. I don't want my kids to be under the state. I don't want to be state property. Trust Christian, own nothing, control everything. When you embed that in your thought process, when you walk around on a daily basis, when you live that lifestyle, you won't be under anybody's control. How is the government, which is we the people, they're over top of you, right? But we people have have misplaced terms on these people, these civil servants. That's what they are, civil servants supposedly, but they're administrating penal codes. So admit these civil servants. Uh, so where are you right now? We'll tell you where we are at the vault. We're 5,000 subscribers up. We appreciate everybody that's tuned in live, listen to replay throughout the years, listen to this episode in particular. And now we're moving forward in the capacity of where do you go after 5,000 subscribers? Well, where we go, we are going to take information from the listeners on what we can do to get better. Feel free to email christian@trustchristian.com on the episode. So this is the freebie for you all. Sure, you don't get a free consultation, but hey, our episodes are always based off of our consultations and based off of trustee stories and situations that have happened to them. So when you listen to an episode, sometimes you're listening to a trustee story. That's literally what you're listening to. A situation that they've done or situations that we've helped trustees out. That's what you're listening to. So you can feel free to reach out, christian@trustchristian.com, and we will actually give out the answers and have some answers to questions. And that's why we're still on the line now for over an hour, which we normally don't do anymore. Where you can ask a question in the chat. Feel free to ask a question in the chat, and we'll answer those questions because definitely not gonna do an hour for free, but we'll definitely do Q&A with questions over the actual live stream, and so we'll definitely do that. Feel free to type in your questions to the chat. Appreciate Yusuf Lopez for tuning in live. Appreciate Yusuf Lopez for tuning in live. Listen to replay. Um, Once again, yeah, if just feel free to type your questions into the chat while we're still on here. Appreciate everybody that's tuning in live, listen to replay. We know how long y'all been listening. If y'all see how many people been listening for how long they've been listening, you'd be like, wow, it's pretty cool. So we always appreciate the people that are, holding their ear to the vault and staying tuned in live, which is beautiful. So it's really exciting. Um, but feel free to type your questions into the chat. We'll hold on the line here, so you all can type your questions into the chat. But from the vault's perspective, when it comes to the marketplace right now, we had a trustee contact us the other day. This is so, it's not funny, but it's just like, this is the difference between an informed and an uninformed family. This trustee is informed, but they still had to come in and check the pulse to keep it alive. And this what they said. The trustee says they actually got a lump sum of money, and they said, what is the first thing I should do with it? And we say, well, let's go look at the 4 stages of trusteeship. What comes after protection? Or what comes first? Protection. Okay, well, what comes next? Preservation. Did you do that yet? No. Then that's what you got to do. That's what is in the step in the process is preservation. So when we have a Victor or ultra high net worth investor financial advisor here coming to the workshop on the 6th, he's the one that says, oh, I'm going to make the money be old money. You know how you hear the young artists nowadays say, oh, I'm trying to have old money. Money so long it's growing white hairs. Okay. Money so old it's growing white hairs. Well, we have the white hairs in the room. We got the senior trustee, international trustee, Victor. You only get a chance to meet him if you're in the environment. And we just appreciate him. We look forward to it. It's going to be a blast because, he keeps it simple. He's an old sage. We don't want to call him old, but he's a sage. He's definitely a sage. Somebody that has timeless wisdom and trusteeship. A lot of times, can you overlook that? Can you overlook trusteeship? Can you overlook senior hair, gray hairs or white hairs and trusteeship? Can you overlook that for 40 years of experience? Had SEC licenses? Can you overlook someone working for the SEC as an agent almost? Could you overlook that? Oh man, I don't know. I don't got enough powerful friends and people in high places. Well, what happens when you get in contact with somebody like that? Even if they are just an email away. Oh man, well it must be that easy. Everybody's an email away. Sure, yeah, you got it right. Keep it moving. But for the ones that understand, hey, you know what? I gotta think about that. That is a very important point. Gotta preserve it. Why not preserve it? The money that you just made is losing value, but the dollar's at an all-time high in July 2022. Dollars at a not an all-time high, but it's a 20-year high actually. It's not an all-time high, it's a 20-year high. So we just want to thank everybody for tuning in live, listening replay. We want to thank our mentors for, you know, instilling what they instilled in us to continue to go out and serve. Because our mentors serve, ladies and gentlemen. Our mentors didn't have to do any of that. Our mentors didn't have to share any information with us. Their families were good. They had endowments at colleges. See, this is some new information to the 5,000 subscribers. See, this is new information possibly to 100,000 listeners. That's what it is new information. Right. It's new information. Well, what does it come down to? You investing in yourself. You investing in your education, your private education. We look forward to hearing from you all at the workshop, at the email, christian@trustchristian.com. Once again, that's christian@trustchristian.com. We'll stay on for an extra 20 seconds. If anybody has a question, feel free to type it into the chat. Once again, feel free to type any question into the chat, christian@trustchristian.com. Yeah, it's been a blast for years now. So many good people have come through. We built so many good relationships with people coming through the vault. We got a chance to feed, we changed lives. We got people that have quit their jobs by listening to the vault. We don't need the accolades. We don't need that internet press. Oh man, we gotta have the internet run. What is that? What do you think? You think this is for everybody? This isn't for everybody. It's not for everybody, ladies and gentlemen. It's not. You gotta be okay with hearing that. It's not for everybody. This isn't welfare. This isn't socialism. Everybody's not going to get an equal share. You got to earn, you got to give, you got to take. There's been more subscribers than 5,000. People have unsubscribed. But we're appreciative where the number officially hit it. Like, we guess it's inspiration to hold to the young ones out there that want to know how long it's going to take to build something. How long should they endure before they get, oh, I got my subs up, man. I got my subs up. Like that matters. The subs, we appreciate them, but what about the lives we've impacted so far? Right? That's the power of community. Oh, there's no power in community. No, there's no power in it. Every man for himself. It's capitalism. Isn't that what you preach? Isn't that what the system preaches? No. You want to know what the system preaches? The system preaches that you have a board. The system preaches that you have a succession plan. Because if something goes down with you, did you create any second group of leaders? Did you create a next group of leaders? Did you train the next group of leaders? Did you create the next group of asset managers? Did you create the next group of proper managers? Did you create that? Did you have a hand in that? Did you have a hand, once again, in creating the next group of asset managers for wealth for your family, for your culture, for the country, and for the world? We know we did, because that's what the workshop is. First of all, you can't grow anything that you don't protect. That's why we always start out with protection. We do get to growth, but we got to first start out by protecting it. Trust Christian know not to control everything. Oh man, I heard them on the internet. They talk about getting a trust, because that's what everybody's talking about nowadays. Yeah, a few of these lawyers out here, these people, they say get a will, but guess what? We go into them advanced channels, them other channels, Trust Christian in the Vault, that has all them views and stuff. So since they got all them views, they saying we need to be in trust too, but they didn't tell us that it was 80 different type of trust. See, we listened this long into the episode, Trust Christian in the Vault, for you to tell us that there's a difference between what you guys talk about and then what the guys on the internet talking about, because they didn't tell us it was 80. At least you telling us it's more than one. Did they tell us it's more than one on these other channels? They told us it's more than one, ladies and gentlemen. Oh man, they didn't tell me that. Hold on, then they told me to go get this one, but they didn't tell me it was 80, so I don't really know which one is the best one. And then when I go to the accountant or lawyer, do they tell me the 80? They don't tell me the 80. I wanted to know the 80. I needed to know 80. I didn't know that there was 80. But they told us to get in trust. They told us that the lawyer was going to serve us. The lawyer didn't even tell you more than 5 trust options. Oh, this is what we going to do. We going to go ahead and put you in this. You going to go ahead whippity woppity. And then now you in some S Corp. Huh? Now you in this. Now you in that. Now you in a public trust. Oh, I'm in a public trust. Why? Because I got a public attorney to do it. And that's the difference between Trust Christian and the Vault. Appreciate California for tuning in live, listen, replay. Always appreciate California for tuning in live, listen, replay. We usually don't do these longer episodes as much anymore, but we appreciate the audience for tuning in live, listening to replay. Sometimes it's good to do these long ones because this is an emergency room right now. It really is. A lot of people are if you're swimming, you're doing well right now in the economy. Because let the economy tell you, they say inflation's at an all-time, at a 40-year high. What do you mean it's at a 40-year high? Most people don't even know what that means. They just think the prices are crazy right now. They think food, they feel like they've lost what's called erosion of wealth. There are many things that are going to erode your wealth. And whether it's inflation, whether it's probate for your lawyer, whether it's death tax, whether it's inheritance tax, these things might come for you. Uh-oh, somebody typed into the chat. That's right. That's how I ended up in the living trust a few years back. Why? Because they went to the lawyer and the lawyer said, oh yeah, we just going to put you in a template that we got from the law library that we got. Literally, the one you got is at the law library. Hold on. For real, let me go. Hold on. Let me scratch my head a little bit. So you telling us that the contract, these trust contracts, the public ones, difference, the difference between public and private, the public trust contracts, it's at the law library. They got it out of the law library book. Pleadings, forms. Okay. They sold me a living trust. They didn't give us any training. They were a lawyer. Why would they do that? They're the lawyer. We're the trust trainers. Family, estate. There are things when you get into the private sector that you get trained on. Whereas in the public sector, they're taking advantage of what? Of you not wanting to learn it. Oh man, you know how many people for years now? Oh man, go ahead and shut that trusteeship down. We know you're getting tired of it. A lot of people have come for the crown. They've come for the crown. Trustee training. They came for the crown. Oh, trust Christian of all. We could do it better than you. Yeah, right. We're just doing it. Because there's a need. If you're doing it better, sure, have at it. We're doing our part. The people that actually are saying they're doing it better, guess what? We could almost say they stole it. Or they came and they got it from the vault, but now they could do it better. Hey, no worries, no worries. No worries. You can do it better. But we're just doing it. And we got you on. We put you on. See, they try to bite the hand that feeds them. They want to bite the hand that feeds them. Cool. But what happens when you sign non-disclosures, non-circumvents, non-competes? We thought y'all was aware of these contracts out here. When you do business with people in the private, you sign non-disclosure, non-compete, non-circumvent, right? Right. Well, how long those contracts last? Because it's a contract. Remember, the trust is a contract, and that could not die. Right. Did you follow the procedures on how to end the contract? Did you follow the procedures on breaching the contract? But they can do it better, supposedly. Okay. Trustee training. Why you gonna keep doing that? We've had people, the mentors, that say, oh, if they ain't got $1 million, don't let them do it. They'll be the same mentors. Why are you dealing with poor people? How could you say that? These are normal people. You don't know who's listening. They just telling you something, though. We talk to our mentors in the private. They say, why are you on the public platform talking to poor people? This is what they say. We're not trying to sugarcoat it because they already done said, why are you dealing with people that don't have $1 million? They say they don't need it. They don't deserve it. This is what they say. And we're serving. But then you got the other goofballs that don't even have $1 million and they still stealing, circumventing. Oh man, we could do the training better than Trust Christian Duval. He ain't really showing his face like that. He ain't really doing all the internet tactics. He just keeping it real smooth. Just working his way up. And he just doing the episodes. That's all. He ain't really calling out no names. But sure, there's a couple organizations that we've dealt with. That guess what? We dealt with them. We know their government name. We know their birth dates. Damn near know the socials. What difference does it make? See, what happens is in life, you just got to keep doing the right thing. We still doing the workshops. The ones that think they could circumvent and steal, did they do the workshops? They ain't done one workshop yet. Oh, well, after that episode 5,000, after 414, we started doing workshops. We started doing conferences because we knew at one point we was gonna have to do it, right? Because Trust Christian and Vote, what they doing it for if they don't need to do it? So if they don't need to do it, why are we gonna do it? Why are they doing it? Right? Because it's for the trustees. This ain't for me. This ain't for the vault only. We got senior partners and mentors there. Senior trustees there. It's not just Trust Christian Vault. People contact the vault for years now. Oh, I want to do the community. I want to do the community. Well, guess what? Now you learn in certain communities you're gonna have bad seeds, or what they call bad apples. They come from bad seeds. That's fine. Let's observe the laws of nature. Let's give you lines what the mentors trained us on when we were youngsters and pups in the business world. What they say? You got to be deep rooted, Trust Christian. You got to be deep rooted. You got to have a deep rooted cause. The deep rooted cause was the community. The deep rooted cause was trusteeship, senior successor trusteeship. So when you're sitting around your family, you're saying, well, look, I'm trying to put together a trust, because that's what they come to us with all the time. I'm trying to put together a trust, but they don't have a plan in place. And you got to have a succession plan. The lawyers can sell you the trust, but are they sharing with you about the importance of having a succession plan in place? A management plan in place to manage the assets, because most of them don't work because of management. Assets aren't passed along from one generation to the next because of management either knowing how to do and doing or not. That's what the conference is about. Asset protection, August 6th in Orlando. It's not going to be 9 to 5, it'll be 9 to 7. We're doing a VIP dinner. VIP dinner tickets are the more so tickets right now, which is crazy. It's always crazy. We do things like this and it's crazy. It's beautiful though. It's really beautiful. New Jersey. Appreciate New Jersey for tuning in live, listen, replay. We actually have done a workshop in New Jersey. We did a workshop in New Jersey. Shout out to New Jersey. Appreciate New Jersey for tuning in live, listen, and replay. Hey, 5,000 subscribers. Celebration. We had to do an emergency meeting. We had to call a meeting for you all. Have an attention, let you all know. If you have been here for a while, we appreciate you. If you are new, we appreciate you. And why not celebrate? Why not go over the numbers? This is what you're supposed to be doing with your family. Every month, every time you hit a milestone. Where are you guys going and celebrating? Well, we'll be in Orlando celebrating. How we are not too poor to get on the airplane and go commune with other trustees. It doesn't matter if you're with our organization, coming to the vault, coming to the Vault's Asset Protection Conference, or if you're going to another one. But are you going to any? Are you continuing your education in the so-called bear market? Well, we'll see. Appreciate everybody for tuning in live, listen, replay. Christian at trustchristian.com. Once again, that is Christian at trustchristian.com for the tickets, the inquiries to the workshop, Asset Protection Conference, Orlando. Look forward to seeing you there. Christian at trustchristian.com. Peace and joy.